And also, last board meeting, I had sent a memo, and I just refreshed everyone's email this morning with that email. And so we're looking at repairing a couple of high-capacity pumps at the River Shore Pump Station. These are submersible flight pumps where the cost of replacing these pumps is $23,000. The repair cost being around $7,000, and talking with the contractor, they believe it will get us another 10, 15 years of life out of these pumps. So I would, of course, recommend looking at that repair versus replacement cost ratio going forward with the repairs for those pumps. I did have some money in that account set aside for VFD replacement that was noted in the 2022 asset management plan. These VFDs at East Union Pump Station have reached the end of their shelf life, and so we had budgeted for that this fiscal year. I can use those funds to repair these pumps at River Shore and defer that VFD replacement for fiscal year 2026 if that's acceptable, and we shouldn't have to look at taking money from anywhere else. It would be right there in that account. So
I believe you'd want a motion to do that. Does anyone have questions?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you.
okay. I'll get back with them and get it on the schedule then. So that's all I had, unless you guys have any questions for me.
You want to do the application?
For the Antique Boat Museum? Yeah, that's I mentioned that in the beginning. So
So-
$3,000 they should be expecting.
Oh,
And
okay.
once that's received, they have to go ahead and approve the second half of that application.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. If you,
I thought we were on the memo, sorry.
Oh.
I was trying to get the cameras to work.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll wait for that.
Okay.
Okay.
So any idea when the mini splits are going to be put in?
So Mickey, when I spoke to him 3 weeks ago, said it would be mid-October. Here we are, the end of October, so I've got a phone call to make.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe he's enjoying the good weather fishing still.
Yeah, and you did like reference checks and all that stuff as far as his,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he was
We've
the
used
lowest
them
bidder.
before.
Oh, good. So
Didn't
yeah.
we use them before?
And we did use him
Okay,
before at
good.
the water plant.
So it's
Yeah,
just
he
he's
did
just behind.
great
so
work,
not a
and
big deal,
he
nothing
was
to
the
worry
lowest
about.
bidder.
Okay. Great. Thanks.
Great. Any other questions for Jeff? Great. Thank you very much.
All right,
Appreciate your
thanks.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, we will go back to the police report. Does anyone have any questions about the police report? In reference to our house on, not our house, but the house on James Street, one of the residents, if he hasn't moved today, will be moving tomorrow, and that hopefully will make things a little bit still quieter
Yeah.
in the community. So that's good
And then there
news.
was another one that already, right?
Yeah, one has
Yeah.
left, another one is leaving,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
But those are good changes. Mr. Jones?
Hello, everyone. You all have a copy of the DPW activity report, and I did add some photos of our paving project that we completed last week. We got a lot done in 3 days, as you can see. It went really well. We had beautiful days for it, so usually when they're here, it's snowing or it's really cold, and so it was excellent weather, and it was good to get them in and get them out. I know Merrick Street's just like a racetrack as it is up at school. They really came out really, really well. Also, as you noticed, I did note that we would be moving the docks last Friday, and they are moved over to Mary Street dock. We will secure them a little bit better for the season, and that's where they'll stay till probably May. And also I have a call out to Seaway Marine Group, who is now certified to do the inspections on our big docks. So he's gonna get back in touch with me this week, and we'll set up a time to get the gangways off those docks and get those C-Flex connections inspected to make sure everything's good. And I believe I believe we plan to move that one weight that's there
Yes.
with the buoy. I think we're gonna try to get that out of there, so that goes
I think
away.
it's just gonna get slid down
And then,
more, I believe, but,
I think it doesn't do anything, it's not
Right.
linked to anything, so the way they were talking, we could just pull it out. If we wanna just store it, we'll have one for future if we ever need it. And I think there was one connection that got damaged last year, and I think they will take care of that when they come here also.
So Terry, we're not gonna remove any of the docks that are there after the gangways come out?
Correct. The way it's set up, the way everybody agreed that they would be fine there, and let's hope that everybody's
well,
right.
this'll be year number 2.
Yeah, we did make it through.
And we had some rough
We did make
days
it through last year. The only difference is we have that one
It's the new
dog leg
yeah.
that sits out on the outer part instead of on the inner part, so. Hopefully, you know, our winters have been pretty mild lately. We don't get a lot of ice. That seems to be the biggest issue over the years that I've witnessed, so. As I stated in an email to the board last week, we were looking at well, I shouldn't say an applicant who tried out the last time we did a hiring, and I brought him in, and he's very, very qualified for the job. He plows snow, he mows lawns, he's weed eats, he seems to be the caliber that we're looking for. And he's eager to work here. He lives in Clayton. He wants to serve his community, and the interview went rather well. And I polled all the board, and you all seem to be on board with hiring him. So I'm asking if the board would like to make a motion to hire Anthony De Valentino as a laborer at the rate of $19.89 an hour, and he would start November 17th would be the next pay period.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
A second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. I did want to just give Tyler Eckert and Matt Greeneisen some kudos for the work that they did during the pumpkin chunkin'. They were really hustling, and as were Sam and Bill down at the docks. Everybody, it was a great event, even volunteers, everyone did a fantastic job. So I'd just like to thank the town of Clayton for lending Matt Greeneisen to us for the day. It went rather well.
Yeah, those new docks were a great place to watch the.
They were.
Because you had a great view, like,
Yeah.
you could see the whole thing.
Yeah, it was great, and then also on the new Riverwalk, in
Yes.
front of the hotel, so
Yeah.
that's the most people I think I've ever seen in Clayton, including parades.
Gorgeous day, too.
I think that's all that I have. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No. I don't. Anyone else?
Oh, so are you going to be, do you foresee advertising for another position? or-
Yes, I'm sorry, I was gonna bring that up. So I think it's on Indeed, Amanda put it on Indeed.
No,
No?
no, because I did check yesterday, it's not on. I spoke with her this morning, it's not on, it's in the process of being
So it will
written.
go in the TI Sun on Wednesday?
Oh, I don't know, it hasn't even been written,
Okay.
so it's in the process. But the answer is yes, but it's not on there yet.
And along those lines, at some point, I think we should talk about, maybe there's a couple things we can do with benefits, whether, a couple, so they don't have to wait a year to get any time off and
Right.
things like that, sort of sweeten the pot. So
Yeah.
I don't know, is that like a year meeting thing, or when would we?
Well, that's generally during the,
Budget?
The negotiations.
No, the negotiations.
Yeah, okay.
But I will say that people know this before they hire the job. We don't surprise anyone any
Oh, no, I
longer.
understand it, but I'm just
Along with, your ad just talks about what your benefits are.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it doesn't say, oh, you don't get time off for the first year. So I don't think that that's affecting the applicants. But we do communicate with them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they're all
beforehand.
informed of it. It's tough. We all been through it. Every one of
Yeah.
us that were hired, we all went through it.
No, my point is not to
But
have
we
that
don't-
ad, though.
Yeah,
That's
no,
just
no,
what
no.
we're talking
And
Yeah.
I agree.
But we
That's a
can,
long time.
we can go through that during the negotiations.
Okay.
Yeah. Which will start the beginning of next year.
Got it. Thanks.
have anything else.
Great, thank you, Terry.
Thank you all.
Awesome work.
Yeah, great job.
Dave?
All right, good evening, everybody. So I put together the monthly report presented to you. I looked at a couple of areas, key areas of what I do as far as permitting, meetings, property visits, and administrative items. And one of the comments from last month, was a better breakdown of what the permits were, where the properties were, what was being built, per se. So I broke all these down. These were the ones I collected over this last month. And then I did a final tally at the bottom as far as the fee collections were. So, got 7 permits, a couple other ones are in various stages. I had a series of meetings with residents, board members, and public. I was invited out to French Bay by Jeremy Kellogg. He wanted me to walk down the properties with him for proposed the townhouses. So that was, getting out to the community, I think, is important. I had a pre-submittal review with Antique Boat Museum between the time of their board hearing and their next hearing. I wanted to make sure that they had heard everything that was being requested of them. Again, outreach. I met with the property owner, Bosnick, probably butchered that, excuse me. He had a variance for a zoning permit. I went and looked at the property, and he came, we had a series of meetings actually. He came back with documents, represented it at the zoning board. Then we had the regular scheduled meetings with the planning board, the zoning board, the new joint planning board, zoning board, kind of liaison, coordination, 2 members from each board, myself and Nancy, trying to enhance communication, how we do business together, the flow of information. So that was beneficial. We have another one tomorrow night, I believe. I said Doug Rogers came in, presented some information to me, just as a follow-up from the planning board. Ron Duford came in a couple times. He had questions about the variance for the garage. He also wanted to know about parking and how that is built into a lot of the zoning permit applications. And I did indicate that it is in the code and that he wants to see that enhanced a little bit. And then I did have a public with Ann Major Stevenson, who basically just had some general public concerns we've all heard before. And, she wanted to bend my ear, and I allowed it. Now, was that a wise choice? No, it was fine. It's part of trying to be open door and liaison. So property visits, I'd like to go down and inspect what I am approving. I did go down and witness the tree removal at the antique boat property. That was quite a feat. We got that done in a day or something. That was pretty substantial. Everybody knows the result of that with the condition of the tree. French Bay, again, I mentioned just looking at their site layout, where that is right now in the grand scheme of things. I still think we're probably a couple months away before they even present anything to us. I had a new applicant, Brambot, for a porch. They gave me a cartoon drawing. I looked at it and I said, something doesn't add up. They have all this space, and they said, oh, it's only 8 feet. And we went out there and I looked at it. I measured with them. We updated that. But again, it was to a benefit. I did go to look at the garage. Also, went down and looked at the Art Center, James Street demolition when that was occurring. I used to be a demo guy, so that was of interest. And they were spraying water on the demolition debris, which is always good. From the administrative standpoint, one of the things that we talked about was with the planning board was a comprehensive site plan checklist. It's in the code. Pieces of that information get submitted, some pieces don't. So we thought it would just take the language out of the code, put it on a checklist, and then give it to people to review. So that, so that when they come in, they've got everything checked off, or they've gotten a reason why it's not checked off. So that we're not getting into reviewing the partial information, reviewing another set of information, and reviewing a third set of information. Try to streamline that, and that kind of came out of the joint coordination between planning board and zoning board. Out of that also did a schedule of documents, submittals, that if you want to have a hearing with the zoning board or the planning board, you have to have your information to me 2 weeks before that said meeting so that I can review it for accuracy, completeness, give my recommendation that, yeah, this looks like a viable candidate for review. Then the boards have a chance, 10 days, I believe, to look at it prior to the applicant doing an oral presentation of what they're trying to do. So that seems to be going fairly well. We did revise all of the application forms for the zoning permits and zoning variance permits to fillable PDFs. So it's very user-friendly. The old version was a Word. You would type into it and all the lines would scoot off to the right. So we got it done now. So it's very simple. And then I had a series of trainings that I attended, planning and zoning with the Association of the Towns down in Syracuse. Following night, site plan review with the Division of Local Governments in Watertown. And both of them were actually very informative for me. Then I had to take my typical state training, sexual harassment and violence in the workplace. I think one of the things, as I was looking at this, I probably needed to put in a breakdown by themselves of what the zoning board agendas were as far as village information, same with the planning board. And I'll add that to next month's docket. All right.
Great job.
Any
Very
questions?
good, thank you. Any questions from the board for Dave? And he is here most days, so you're welcome, obviously, to come in and speak to him anytime.
Are you in the afternoon at all, or just in the morning?
By appointment.
Okay,
Yeah, I work typically 8:30 to 12:30,
okay.
and then I'm available in the afternoons. And I have met two of these parties before and after typical hours.
So to make an appointment with email, what's your email?
Zoning.
Is it zoning?
Zoning at Village of Clayton.
Okay, great.
.org, yeah.
Thank you.
And I tell people when they have a concern or they have a complaint, email me. Okay, so then I have a record of it and address it. And I will actually say that if I don't reply, email Nancy.
Thanks, Dave. Super. Any
Okay.
additional questions? Great.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Dave.
you.
Thank you, Dave.
Appreciate all your help.
Comments?
Any questions about the consent agenda?
No.
Could we have a motion for 1 through 5, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And take a good look at that capital project, because you won't see it too often. That looks good. Any comments about the capital project? You have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Joanne?
So, we have the back of the water bills. The water bills are all printed, and we're in the process of stuffing envelopes. And this is what's going on the back of the water bills. We always have something to go on the back. The winter parking regulations, flush advisory, and the Village of Clayton sidewalk snow removal requirements. Just to remind everybody, and this is a good way to do that on the back of the water bills. I'm also putting an ad in the TI Sun for no all-night parking, beginning November 1st, ending April 1st. And also Village of Clayton sidewalk snow removal requirements. So we changed that, right, from 100 to
Yes.
200 for the second offense.
For the second, yes, yes.
First offense is
100.
Yeah.
Do we give them a warning first, or is it just?
Yeah, Terry usually.
Yeah,
does.
sometimes.
Yeah. Be good to have a warning. If, somebody's new, they just moved in, they don't know.
Yeah. And the water bills will be mailed out November 1st.
Any comments or questions? Super.
We should amend that if it's the same thing on the back of the bill. I think offense is with a S, not a C. Might be the Canadian way of spelling it,
With an S?
with a C.
With it?
S is the
Is the
correct
correct way?
spelling.
Okay. Well, they've already been printed, so we'll make sure to do that for next winter. Super. And you all received the September financial reports? Any questions about that? All right, would someone make a motion to accept those?
I'll make a motion.
In a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Super, okay. Let's see, we've already talked about sidewalks, because that's important with the snow, because people forget that it's coming. We had as everyone is aware, we had a great pumpkin chunkin'. I don't know what the true numbers were. I would say at least 7,000, if not more. Every year they say they're not going to have it, but who knows about next year. But it was quite the turnout. No problems at all. I mean, there was a person that had a heart attack, and there was a person who dizzy or something like that, but it had really nothing to do with the whole process. So that went very well. We had a great day on Saturday with Climate Smart, which I'll let Mike talk about further. Another project that I would like to get started is I'd like for us to take an inventory of the sidewalks within the village and I think we need to rate them from what desperately needs to be fixed to, yeah, this needs to be fixed. And once we find out what we have, then we need to work on a program. We do have the program of getting on the list and getting it, and then the village will take care of it, but we haven't been, I'm not going to say successful. I'd like to see more of them done more often, but we don't always have the manpower to do it. But I think that is the next project we should start looking at. And how can we get this rolling for next spring, summer, and fall?
Now, can a homeowner just email the village basically? If there's,
Bless
Yes,
You
they
know,
can,
yeah.
yes.
This is-
And I would also like to thank every homeowner that has done it this year. We've had quite a few homeowners do their own, which is great, and that's really what we would like to see.
Yeah.
But I know we have at least minimum of 3 that are almost dirt,
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Isn't the
yeah,
current
dirt.
policy that the homeowner pays for the material and
Yes.
the village pays for
Yes.
the take care of the labor?
But the problem has been not enough people to do the
Yeah,
labor.
not enough labor,
Yeah.
right.
Are the homeowners willing to pay for the materials in most cases?
Yes. Yeah, oh, yes, yes, yeah. And there are people who are on, I have not seen the list, but there are people who are on the list. But I think that there's a number of them that desperately need to be done. And I know, I may be wrong, but I think places like Syracuse and Watertown, it gets done and it goes on your taxes. So we need to discuss that, do some investigation, see how we want to handle something like that.
Yeah, that's how they used to do it in Sackets Harbor.
Yeah, it's just, it gets done. And maybe, and that's another comment, do we then take it out to a masonry company instead of us doing it? Or is there something we can do with the town? You know, maybe the town can do the demolition and we can do the pouring. There's a variety of ways we could get that handled. So I think that's important.
Nancy, as we're
Yes.
doing that, are there any handicap considerations that need to be addressed as we're putting the sidewalks together? Like on the corners, I know when they redid,
I think those, I believe, they've all been taken care of by the state. And they were here before,
Right.
weren't they here in the summer?
but I just mean like as we move forward,
Yes,
probably something we should think about also is like
Right.
if it does need any of the texturized
sure,
surface
sure, yeah.
as well. I just don't want to see us put sidewalk down and then have to take it back up.
Oh, I agree, yes, yeah, we don't want that.
And what's Terry's recommendation so far, as different ways to go? Would he prefer a private?
He'd
outside-
prefer a private person.
Okay.
He would, because again,
Yeah,
they
they
don't
don't-
have the
labor,
staff, the labor to do it. But I've also heard at times, and I think we might create that conversation with the town, that they could also help us possibly put in some curbs also.
Yeah.
And we all know that curbs are desperately needed.
Yeah.
So I think that should be one of the projects we work on in '25 and see how we can move all this further ahead. And the only other thing I have, and then I'm going to turn it over to the board, is our next meeting will be Tuesday, the 12th of November, because of Veterans Day. And yes, I got your email, thank you. And don't forget to vote next week.
Yeah.
Does anyone on the board have anything to say?
No, I'll just do a quick brief report on the Climate Smart. So we had about 20 people from the public here, and we had about 20 vendors and participants and members of the committee. And it was a really good presentation. They were all different Fourth Coast presented, how you can do solar, how you can do geothermal. It's not as expensive as you think. There's all sorts of grants. Cornell Cooperative Extension Industry Advisor kind of gave the public a whole bunch of different varieties of ways you could fund, get grants, get low interest loans, et cetera, if you want to do the big projects. We created a simple, easy, what's that stupid place? Low-hanging fruit, thank you, I knew it was fruit, I'm like, yeah, low-hanging fruit, so we had a list of 99 different things you can do just around the house, and then GYMO came in, and GYMO's was very interesting. It talked about sort of on a community scale and placement, when we plan and when we zone and when we place new buildings, things to think about. So it was a good presentation. We had Cornell Waste Management Institute here talking about not only composting, but what to do with it afterwards, which I thought was neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great event, I thought.
I can't thank you enough. You did an excellent job. Your
Oh, the whole committee,
presentations
yeah.
were very, very informative, and a lot has changed over the years.
Yeah.
And I'm one that's not keeping up with it all, but a lot has changed, so that was very good to hear. And,
Yeah, I
we'll
think that's
reach out.
something, going forward, we need to think about what we can do
Yes,
in our facilities even more. I mean, we're already started with that grant.
right,
but, Yeah,
yep.
great,
So,
thanks.
no, it was very good. Thank you for all your work. And the people that came appeared to enjoy it,
Yeah.
and all the vendors appeared to enjoy it, and that was, I felt very positive. And they all walked home with a pumpkin.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, and Save the River and Tilt were also here. I'm trying to
Yes.
remember. Oh, and Cross Island Farms was here. I think I got,
Yeah,
yeah. And Jefferson County Health.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we had a great team. Very good. Anyone else have anything?
I do just a quick thing on Han Memorial Library. They're celebrating their capital project completion, and on November 7th from 7 to 8, there's going to be a reception with desserts.
Desserts?
Well, and they make pretty good desserts over there too. Don't you think, Rob?
I do, I've saved a few.
Yes. So that's November 7th,
Yep,
yes. So
7
I
to 8
encourage
p.m. Yep. It's from 7 to 8
7
p.m.
to 8,
Yep.
yes.
And they asked me at the last meeting I attended to extend the invitation to all of us.
Very
And it's open to the public as well.
Yes.
So,
Very good.
Is there going to be chocolate?
I think there will be.
sure.
There usually is, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Mr. Boyansky? Okay. Then could I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make the motion.
To go into executive session or no?
Well, I know it's on there, but there's, I have nothing.
there
I
is.
don't know, I don't know
Oh,
why
is
it
that
was
left
there.
over from last time?
I believe so.
I think what happened was I made the corrections you and I talked about, you know, moving the water up
Yes.
to the top. And then I printed out a copy for myself, but didn't send you guys the copy. So I think that's what happened.
And you
Well, I'll make a motion to
and you
adjourn.
forgot
How about that?
Mr.
Yeah,
Zoni.
there was no executive session on
Right,
that.
no.
I'm the only one with the right agenda.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
And who seconded?
I did.
Okay.
As opposed to Rob.
Yes.